The stack of documents sat waiting for me on the kitchen counter, neatly arranged, pristine white edges so sharp they looked like they could cut. She didn't even wait for dinner. Just placed them there, right between the Merlot bottle and my favorite lasagna. Her final act. I want a divorce. 16 years unraveled in a single line. She couldn't meet my eyes when she said it. Didn't need to. Her lips curled in a way that suggested she thought she was being kind, as if this was a gift, a mercy. I glanced at the papers, then at her. A slow smile crept across my face, long and deliberate. She blinked. "All right," I replied calmly. "No point dragging this out." Her shoulders dropped slightly, a flicker of relief softening her posture. In that instant, I knew she thought she'd won. That's when I realized how foolish she really was. It hadn't always been like this. I once memorized her laughter the way people memorize lyrics to a favorite song. Together, we built everything. Late nights, shared responsibilities, chasing dreams from tiny apartments to something real. A marketing firm born out of hunger and relentless hustle. I gave her half of it. She gave me faith. Or so I believed. But then, subtle shifts started appearing. Late-night work meetings that never showed up on her schedule. Dresses too elegant for routine errands. Her phone, always flipped over when I entered the room. And a scent that clung to her, cologne I didn't recognize. Bold, unfamiliar. It was almost like she wanted me to notice. I did. I said nothing. I observed. The turning point came on a Thursday. I came home earlier than usual, told her the meeting had been canceled. That was a lie. I just needed to see. And I did. She wasn't alone. Voices floated down from upstairs, his low and smooth, hers giggling, artificially sweet. Like two teenagers pretending the world didn't exist. I didn't go up. Just stood there in the kitchen, breathing in the air that now smelled like betrayal. Then I walked out, quiet, measured, like someone leaving the scene of a crime they didn't commit. That night, I stopped being her husband. I became something else entirely. I moved in silence. The first thing I did was buy a second phone, not to talk, but to gather. I began collecting information, location history, synced accounts, cloud backups. Nothing illegal. Just quiet and thorough. She used to handle the money. I let her believe she still did. And I watched. Business expenses began leaking into places we'd never been. Hotel bookings in cities we never had meetings. Dinners for two, billed as client gifts. Lavish boutique purchases. Her affair wasn't just personal. It was with a client. A married one. Careless. Easy to track. I built a case. Photos. Receipts. Email trails. Then I hired a forensic accountant. He was better than good. He was surgical. He found a hidden offshore account with my name attached to it, only the signature wasn't mine. She'd been siphoning money from the business for years, drop by drop, forging my name in wire transfers. That's when my anger evolved. It turned into a plan. She handed me the divorce papers on a Friday. I signed the divorce papers that Sunday. Told her I'd be out by the end of the week. I only packed a single bag. Left everything else behind. Let her believe she'd shattered me. What she didn't know was that the essentials, documents, finances, legal protections, had already been transferred, backed up, and secured. Digitally and strategically, I had moved out long before she ever saw that pen hit the paper. When the court date arrived, everything was ready. We met at her lawyer's high-rise office. Floor-to-ceiling glass, skyline gleaming behind them. She walked in like it was some red carpet event, polished, confident, and wrapped in the same smug smile that had once accompanied her betrayal. Then the games began. Her attorney launched into negotiations, division of assets, control of the business, alimony. I didn't speak. I didn't flinch. Instead, I reached into my briefcase, pulled out a folder, and slid it across the table. Inside, photographs, financial records, proof of the offshore account, forged wire transfer documents, her signature right beside a falsified version of mine. Each piece authenticated by a certified expert. I didn't look at her. I watched her vanish. The color drained from her face like water slipping down a sink. Her lawyer's voice faltered. Is this admissible? I leaned in, calm as ever. It will be, I said, unless she accepts my offer. Silence followed. That deafening kind, the kind that buzzes in your ears when there's too much truth in the room. She finally whispered, "You were spying on me." "No," I replied. "I was studying you." The terms were non-negotiable. She would surrender everything, her stake in the company, the house, the investments. She would walk away with enough to vanish, but never enough to start over. The alternative, I would release it all. Her infidelity, the embezzlement, the falsified paperwork. Her affair with a married man whose wife had already received the entire file, delivered the night before, time-stamped and irrefutable. She signed. Her hands trembled, her silence louder than any apology. 3 days later, she called. Said she'd made a mistake. That maybe there was still something to salvage. That she'd been lost, confused, under pressure. Her voice cracked. Pleaded. I let her talk. Let the desperation ring in her voice. Let her try to find a thread to pull me back. Then I ended the call. Not in anger, but because I felt nothing. Now, I sit at the head of the same table where she once laid those papers. A glass of scotch in hand. The house is quiet. I still remember the lasagna she left out that night. A small gesture, trying to cushion the fall, like feeding a condemned man before his execution. But I was never the one waiting for a bullet. I was the one holding the trigger, waiting for the perfect moment to squeeze. Betrayal is noisy. It screams. But revenge whispers. And it echoes forever.